Hi Scorpio, here is a general look at your solar chart for November 2012. Woo, there's a lot going on for you at the moment, isn't there? This is a powerful month for you with the sun in your sign until the 22nd, Scorpio, and a solar eclipse on the 13th. In general, the way should be clearer for you to improve things for yourself on a personal or professional level. But the eclipse signals something bigger and longer lasting, with a chance to make a new start related to your personal and professional aims and ambitions. So yes, it is about fresh beginnings for you, Scorpio. And not only that, but you've now got Saturn in your sign, as you early Scorpions may be noticing already. The solar eclipse on the 13th heralds new beginnings in your life, and you get the go-ahead for your plans and schemes as long as you do it the Saturn way, which is step by step over time. And Saturn is going to be in your sign for 2.5 years. The lunar eclipse on the 28th means a new cycle connected to who shares your personal life, or who you can rely upon for assets or financial security. That's going to be pulsing out for a month from when the eclipse happens. So that takes you up to about New Year. And the solar eclipse, though, lasts for several months. The lunar eclipse's effects are shorter than the solar eclipse. Conversations tend to have a more financial or property orientated slant. You will be having ideas which are quite practical and bouncing those ideas off somebody else. Useful resources, money, possessions or equipment will tend to be emphasized, thus highlighting the basic physical material aspects of life at this time. And you could be watching the piggy bank, but you will be also striving to manifest whatever would be best for yourself or others, or the project, or whatever it is that is sort of like ongoing. And information gathering or sharing may center around income or material objects or equipment, large, small, also buying, selling, renting, leasing, all of those kinds of things there. Or maybe it's just about doing some retail therapy. Those sorts of things could be on your mind, and you could be having conversations about those types of practical matters. Mercury does retrograde into the area of the sun on the 14th, turning your thoughts to what you know you need to do for yourself and for your interests. And the retrograde often slows things down due to some kind of glitch or distraction. But Mercury turns direct again on the 26th. Actually, Mercury goes retrograde from the 6th, between the 6th and the 26th, if you want to know that, but actually goes into the previous area on the 14th. Now, Venus is in a more background sort of an area until the 22nd, meaning that you're more likely to have to do things on behalf of others in maybe a selfless or supportive kind of a way at this time, and also maybe having to socialize and put yourself out there when you're really not in the mood. And in certain situations you'll be more inclined to keep your feelings to yourself. Well, you do that anyway, don't you? But your natural intuition and urge to assist will be amplified, so you may be helping others with your caring nature. At this time, you yourself may benefit from another's nurture or support as well. Maybe someone, hopefully someone who's got a very unbiased and very empathic view of things. This is also a very good time for you to connect with your guidance, your higher self, source energy, dream energy. Very, 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 very good time to be connecting like that, and to be doing healing, nurturing, spiritual type work behind the scenes, Scorpio. Another way this can work is that relationships are flourishing in the background, or within some kind of closed circle or close-knit environment, and you're just having to keep an eye on things, maybe pulling strings, maybe. You maybe decide to put yourself out for some sort of cause which you believe in, which supports the common good, perhaps. However it is for you, this is definitely a time for you to be more protective of your own boundaries and do beautiful healing things for yourself. Whenever you can, definitely, make a point of it. Take a breather, get some downtime, just disappear, and let others take the strain. Allow your imagination to flow and just touch base. Now, fortunately for you, the planet of love, material success and physical balance, Venus, enters your sign on the 22nd, and there could be treats in the pipeline. It's a very balancing, harmonizing energy, and it's also the energy connected with love relationships. And there's lots of different kinds of love, of course. Venus will provide a boost to relationships, or at least offer a lot more opportunities to mix and mingle in a very sort of warm, friendly kind of a way. Maybe getting up close and personal with certain special people. With Venus here, you will tend to feel more outgoing and up for it and ready for it, and you tend to come across in a more welcoming manner, and of course then others pick this vibration up from you and see you as more appealing and friendly. And definitely it's a time when you might be feeling a little bit self-indulgent and want to treat yourself to maybe activities or purchases which could boost your morale, and why not? Some retail therapy is definitely it's time for some of that. And also at this time you could get your hands on something or be working with something which turns into quite a valuable asset for you. And you earlier Scorpios will be feeling very, getting a lot more serious about life now. So looking at the long term would be a good idea, where assets, material sort of purchases and investments, whether they're just little eeny weeny tiny ones like getting your ears pierced, or buying a large yacht. So and all of the stages in between, it's for the long haul sort of thing. And that's probably going to be more for you early Scorpios at the moment, but that's because Saturn is there. But the whole of the sign is going to feel this more limiting energy of Saturn. Now, speaking of Saturn, Venus actually does go past Saturn on the 27th. So there's a day there around, just a little bit either side. Maybe you may have to be just a little bit more restrained or serious or responsible with, anything about being self-indulgent or in sort of certain relationships as well. So yes, Saturn, the big news last month was that Saturn, which comes around every nearly 29 years into a sign of the zodiac, it came round and knocked on your door, and it's now in your sign. And Saturn will be there until 2015. So overall you will be taking your responsibilities to yourself and to your goals in life more seriously. But nothing happens fast with Saturn. It's always step by step, and being sort of cautious and patient as one spanner after the other gets thrown into the works. But you see, this is Saturn's job, because her job is to test us. And it is a strange thing with us human beings, but we only seem to really learn our lessons if we have to really make an effort to overcome something. So this is what Saturn's job is. She is a very, very strict cosmic mother. And there's more about my ideas and how Saturn might be affecting you in your life on my website. So you can go and have a look at that. And there's another long-term transit going on here, a little bit shorter than the Saturn one. That's Jupiter, and Jupiter remains in a potentially very lucrative area for you, Scorpio. So make hay while the sun shines, or at the very least materially beneficial, or emotionally, which is not the very least at all. In fact, it's probably without, you can't put a price on emotional stability, but yes, emotionally more stable, and feeling more appreciative, maybe of some relationship over the months ahead whilst Jupiter is there, and that's up until next June. Until the 17th, Mars is demanding you put effort into getting organized on basic practical levels. You could be working harder, maintaining the piggy bank, or just being very, very practical and resourceful about improving the material situation that you find around you. And also indirectly that may include your physical well-being or somebody else's physical well-being. So that might be a little bit more, while you're being active, because Mars is about physical activity. So you could be really putting your back into something here, and you could be looking at simplifying things, streamlining things, but do avoid making snap decisions or doing anything too hastily with Mars in this materialistic area here, because Mars can be very, very hasty and a little bit confrontational as well, and accidents can happen sometimes, or there's a little bit of friction with somebody who is not doing it the way you want it to be done. So just be aware of that. Possessions or any other little bit of territory may need a very sort of motivated and decisive approach, because Mars, isn't backwards in coming forwards. It likes to get things done, and it likes to make decisions, and it likes to initiate. So you'll be feeling like that in this area here. And also maybe you will be taking steps to develop your talents a little bit more, Scorpio. That would be a very good idea with Mars there. And then from the 17th, and by the way, if you're listening to this in October, Mars is probably there now. Now, from the 17th, Mars moves and it goes into your solar communications sector, meaning getting your head around new things for work or pleasure can be a little bit more demanding, just need more energy from you, but also you might be feeling a bit competitive about things. There may be more correspondence or other types of paperwork to deal with. But also you could be flying hither and thither, gathering information maybe, or just seeing faces and places and mixing and mingling. But you should start to feel more confident about making certain decisions, or able to define certain objectives, certain goals more clearly. And you can be proactive and successful if you keep that confrontational side of Mars and sort of blurting out something that maybe you shouldn't have said, although really that isn't your style at all, is it, Scorpio? But maybe your style is just fuming quietly. But just let it go. I mean, life is too short, isn't it? So you can be very proactive and successful on the level of communications, and anything to do with media, in fact, as well, or anything promotional, and you'll be feeling like speaking up and expressing yourself and putting the word out, which should be a good thing, because better out than in with Mars. Maybe thing about the communications sector is it's a two-way street. It's also about listening very actively and dynamically as well. During this Mars transit from the 17th, it's a great time for you to be developing your speaking and writing skills, but also any other forms of self-expression, and also your listening skills. And you will be firmly in the flow of information exchange, but you could have too many lists on your mind, Scorpio, and start to feel tattered and frayed at the edges. So what I was saying earlier about taking some downtime, definitely, I'll say it again, just let go. And sometimes you might feel that somebody around you is being provocative or bossy, or just not doing things in the way that you'd like, or saying, and they're not making the right noises, but really keep lines of communication open, and just be a little bit softer in the way that you come across, and you'll be absolutely fine. And then from the 22nd, practical, basic stuff will have your attention. So yes, there's an awful lot of change and new beginnings happening in your sign at the moment, and it will be about letting go of old stuff as well, so as to make the space for the new to come in and for this revival to happen. And that's it for November. And oh, by the way, happy birthday. Now, if you want to know what the slower moving outer planets are doing, I would have thought this is quite enough to be going on with, though. But if you do, go to my website, and it's written up there. And also, if you want more information, find the forecast for your moon sign or your rising sign if you know it, and then that will add to or subtract from what I've said here. And I'll see you the next time.